Welcome to your Optavia LifeBook audio channel. My name is Christy Baker, and I'm so glad that you're joining me today. We're going to be reading our way through element 17 today, and in fact, it's actually one of the longer chapters in the book. So I'm going to do just a small favor, and I'm going to break it up into bite-sized little pieces that you can listen to maybe if you're out on a walk with your dog or in the car running errands. It's a great way just to get your mind refreshed and focused on your health journey. So before we get started, if you could take just a quick second, push the like button down below and subscribe to the channel, because that's how more people can find out about this great resource. Thanks so much. I really appreciate it. Let's go ahead and get started. We're going to be reading today starting on page 330. 10,000 years ago, we were in perpetual motion throughout our waking hours. It's estimated that we spent in excess of 3,000 minutes a week moving. Consider that if we move barely 300 minutes a week today, we are being considered to be extremely active. How times have changed. And unfortunately, most are getting less than the 150 minutes a week recommended to prevent a steady regression to poor health. In this and the next element, we will explore increasing your activity level with exercise as the ultimate, if not immediate goal, which is essential for disease prevention and creating optimal health. But exactly what that means day to day is different for everyone. And as you've gathered by now, I firmly believe that the best way to integrate movement into your life is by using a plan that's tailored to your current state of health, activity level, and weight, and progress it to create strength, fitness, flexibility, and balance to last you the rest of your life. The sedentary lifestyle, otherwise known as the sitting disease. We have learned a lot from space travel. Our astronauts would leave to go into outer space, leaving the Earth's gravitational pull behind. A startling side effect following this relatively short time in space was that these incredibly fit humans would exhibit significant atrophy, loss of fitness, and other signs of aging in their physical health. With the progressive sitting that we do in our modern lifestyle, we are assimilating space travel daily as we're not moving against gravity. When I wrote the first version of The Habits of Health a decade ago, I stated even for those that were exercising the standard 3 times a week, that it was not enough activity to maintain, much less optimize our health. A plethora of recent studies have validated that offsetting the negative effects of the sitting disease, which affects so many and leads to poor health, does indeed require motion all day long to compensate for the lack of activity even in those that exercise. And you can see more about that in part 2.9 of Dr. A's Habits of Health. In fact, the innovative NEAT system that I created back then is now a highly recommended method to counter the ill effects of sitting in our health. A question for you. Do you have the sitting disease? At this point, it would probably be really helpful to track the total time you are sitting during your waking hours. You can make a list of all the things that you do in a typical day and estimate how long you are sedentary. Or you could actually use a stopwatch to keep a total running time of all the times that you are sitting during the day. Or another option is juststand.org has a sitting time calculator that you can use to estimate your total sit time. Take a moment, process that, and come up with a number of how many hours that you are sitting per day. As always, when I ask a reflective question, I'd like you to take a moment and either text that answer to yourself or put it in your notes so you can reference that later and share your answers with your coach. A recent survey in juststand.org showed that 86% of all Americans sit all day. Daily sitting ranges from 9.3 hours on average to as high as 15 hours in some individuals. What can we do about it? My approach to physical activity takes a much broader outlook than the exercise-focused plans do. It's based on creating habits of dynamic, active living. We begin by stabilizing your healthy weight by gradually introducing the foundational principles of the habits of motion without a lot of weightlifting and aerobics in the beginning. Throughout, we ensure that you are using the most efficient means possible to maintain your weight. Fortunately, the most efficient way is also the easiest and safest way for you to start your movement plan. I'm a firm believer in the motto, you need to crawl before you can walk. My plan gives you time to build your foundation by assimilating some basic principles of physical activity. When you're ready, we'll move you into some more advanced techniques, including weightlifting and aerobics. Throughout, we ensure that you are progressing at a pace that makes sense to you. At the center of my plan is getting you ready to move your body like you did when you were a kid. Now that we're adults, life just seems to get in the way of getting out, playing, and having fun. Combine that with our terrible eating habits and sedentary jobs, and it's easy to see why we've stopped moving. So we're going to start with baby steps, based on your current reality, and crawl our way back to energy, equilibrium, fitness, and optimal health. We'll start by looking at all the little movements that make up your day and put them to work for us. As I teach you about the habits of motion, I'll be focusing on two major objectives. Number one, stabilizing your weight by increasing your energy expenditure, primarily through physical activity. And number two, optimizing your health through carefully paced exercises. We'll accomplish our first goal by teaching you how to become more active through movements centered around your job, your chores, your plans, and your activities. Even if you're currently exercising, I think you'll find that these next two elements helpful in refining your perpetual motion and increasing your dynamics. We're going to go ahead and stop there today on page 333, and we'll pick up in our next video about the difference between physical activity versus exercise. Thank you for joining me today.